And we are back. Another episode of The Chris Gray Show. I am your host with the most, Chris Gray. How are you doing? I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking. Got a jam-packed show for you this evening. Hopefully you have checked out our newest episode. I forget what it's called, but right here. Right there. Right. So yeah, go check that out. YouTube, TikTok, the jazz. Jam-packed show for you this evening or afternoon, whatever the heck you're watching it. It's clearly daytime if you look at my background. And this week was trying on the work side. Content-wise, it's been pretty decent, right? Nothing high, nothing low. We are still chugging along, right? And we're doing all that stuff. But yeah, today's show is very men centric. Just asking some questions about guys. Hopefully, or maybe you can, help women, I guess, But I didn't specifically. This show's not to really help women. If you learn, then you learn. Earlier, I was on. It was either Twitter or Threads. And a lady was saying, she had said something, but she ended with, are men still being men? Right? And I thought about that for a long time because from a woman's perspective, I can 100% see how y'all think men are not being men per se, right? So I understand that, but then I just thought about it for a second, and I was like, well, are men still being men? Well, yes and no, right? The reason why a woman could even ponder a question is because men are not being men. So, yes, but there's a lot of men who are still being men. And I know like chivalry is dead and shit like that, but I hold open doors and stuff like that. I don't. The only thing I don't do is open the car door. That's the only thing I don't do. Right. When I'm at a restaurant and you're waiting and stuff like that. Right. Oh, I got a reservation for such and such. Okay, you got to wait over here. Right. If we're waiting and we're in an area where we can be close to a wall, I'll put her between me and the wall so no one can stand next to her, if that makes sense. Right. And she has her own little space and stuff like that. Right? And whoever going to stand close to us, they can stand next to me, right? So stuff like that. Men are still doing stuff like that, and men are still conscious of it. I still judge men when I go to restaurants and I see their backs to the door. Like, I judge men for doing that. Don't do that, right? Women like when you tell them where to sit, too. When a waitress is showing you the table, right, you tell her, yo, right here. Oh, you do right away. Without even thinking. You sit right there. Right. If a woman bark at you and say I can sit where I want, then that's the last time you should have that dinner date with her. Enjoy that dinner date with her, but then after that, never speak to her again. That's just some game. So yes, there's 100% men still being men, but there's a lot of men that are not being men, and I 100% believe. I said 100% believe like 3 times already. So I'll say it again for a 4th time. I 100% believe that the men who are labeled as not being men still, those guys may have went to the extreme side of the red pill stuff, right? And made things purely transactional. If I take you here, you got to give me this type shit, right? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, right? Because if they can do that, the women who are just here for the dates and the experiences and stuff like that and not really into the person, they're there too. Right, but it's funny how those two groups of people never really meet each other. We just gotta deal with the niggas. We gotta just deal with them. Like the normal people gotta deal with them motherfuckers. Like, I hate it. But yeah, men are still being men, 100%. Another woman asks, "What purpose do men serve?" I find that incredibly disrespectful. Right. A world that men, like, for argument's sake, built, right? A modern society to where you have the modern amenities to where you believe as a woman you don't need a man for anything. It's how comfortable we made it for you, right? Them. I made it comfortable. nobody comfortable for shit. That's how they made it for y'all, right? So I won't delve deeper into that. I just thought that question was, I had to say it out loud to see how silly it really was. Moving right along. Earlier this week, I found out what dogging was and what a Cleveland steamer was. Right. Biggie like giving Cleveland steamers. Right. There's a skit on Life After Death. No, it was Ready to Die. I think it was Ready to Die. I think it's the first one. Yeah, Ready to Die. Where he's talking about that. And we gotta know what that skit is. Yeah, but I didn't know that's what it was called. When you meet people from different cultures and shit, and they tell you what shit mean, like a lot of they shit be real funny, right? But a Cleveland steamer is like an American thing. I just didn't know what it was. Now I do. And once you hear this, you'll Google it, and you'll know what it means too, right? Why, as a man, should you not sleep naked, even when you're with a woman, right? It's important to not do that, right? Or not necessarily make it a habit. You can sleep naked with your woman or a woman, right? You can, right? But you 100% should not be sleeping naked at all, right? You 100% should not be sleeping like over a woman's house, like overnight, right? You can get a couple Z's, you can get a couple hours there, but you shouldn't be spending the night, right? You let her spend the night at your house, right? You should also have your own place, but that's a whole different conversation. But you should, that's how that should move. But the reason why you don't do that, you don't sleep naked, is because you need to be, for one, anything can pop off, anything can jump off, right? So you need to be aware of things. And the last thing you need to do, if you're awoken in the middle of the night by something or anything, right? The last thing you want to do is have to figure out what you gonna put on, right? So you don't sleep completely naked. Like you don't dick out, you don't do none of that shit. Stop, right? You don't do that. I'm not saying sleep with like tactical gear on and shit like that, but just know that that's the last thing you should be thinking about, right? If you have to protect and provide, and if you have to protect somebody and shit, we get a bitch in the bed too. Make sure she's naked. It's cool that she can be naked, right? But you as a man do not. Right? Don't. Just don't. Anyway, I'm kind of joking, but I'm not. Why, as a man, shouldn't you chase a woman, right? I understand that it's romantic to chase after someone, right? But no one ever tells you like the fine print and shit at the bottom. Like when you see the little fucking memes and shit like that, they don't tell you the fine print at the bottom and stuff like that. It's usually covered and you really can't see it, and you really are not. It's not there for you to understand, right? But the fine print is, as a man, you do not chase a woman because that's basically begging her to settle for you, right? So you keep at it, you keep at it, you keep at it until she's like, oh, okay, well, I'll give you the, right? We've heard a lot of women say something similar to, this man just keep DMing me, I keep ignoring him, I keep ignoring him, I keep ignoring him, and then finally I responded. That type of shit, right? If you DM her and then she don't respond within the next 10, 15 minutes with something like of more than just a hi, but some enthusiasm, she's not interested, right? If it takes her more than an hour to respond, she's not interested. She's not, right? Or what if I was busy? No, I know. Everybody's busy. Everybody got shit to do. But there's one thing I do know. We all got this motherfucker in our hand at all times. At all times, right? I watched an African woman get beat because she had like a gang of dudes in her husband's house, and she didn't have no clothes on. And you know what she had in her hand? Her phone. And she was still texting someone, getting berated by her husband. She just like this. So she saw that DM. She just ignored it because she's not interested. She takes a long time to respond to you because she's not interested. She's not busy. She's just not interested. Don't let women lie to you. Like the dude said, remember your last name, that nigga, like remember your last name, right? Right? I will cut you off completely if I understand that you are not interested, right? If it takes you 2, 3, 4, 5 hours to respond, you're not interested. I will go on my way. But I'm going to tell you that you're not interested before I leave, though. And then we'll do the song and dance if you're lying. And then, you know, that's always fun to me. But it always ends in me never speaking to that person again. It is what it is. So yeah, never chase a woman. Never. Right? Because if she was really into you, she is not going to make you chase her. We've watched women just give vagina to Chris Brown. And I know all the regular dudes are not Chris Brown, but we see how women act when they are into the man that they are attracted to, right? We also see how women are when they just tolerate you. They'll give you their number, right? They'll even sleep with you. A woman would have no romantic interest in you, but will have sex with you, will have your child, will allow you to take them out on dates, will have you give them things and buy, you know. And all in the background, they'll have a dude that they're insanely attracted to, that they're so in love with, just in the background at all times, right? They could. Pay attention, right? Go where you celebrate it, not where you tolerate it, right? That's Chris Gray's rule of the day. What else? Racial unity, right? This is really, really quick, right? This is about us black folks as a group, right? And I'm going to tell you why there will never be any black unity, right? I'm going to use white people as a example, right? A certain group of white people, right? White people are so united, right, that they will hate or dislike groups of people simply because the group does, right? You ever notice in those movies where the blacks are struggling and stuff, and the white person who helped them, the white savior person, they're always with this conflict of, is it the right thing? Is it a bad thing if I help these niggas like get to prosperity or some shit like that? And in the end, the white person comes to their senses and they help the blacks, and the blacks triumph, right? There's a lot of white people who feel like that, but they toe the line, right? It's really interesting, right? The ideology is what unites everybody, and everybody's under the ideology, even if they don't even believe it, right? For black people, we would have to believe the ideology all the way across. Not necessarily believe the ideology. We would have to function as if we do believe the ideology, and function against our own thoughts and beliefs about it, right? And present more of a united front, right? If let's say, for instance, if moving north was prosperity for all blacks, even if you didn't believe it as a black person, you still would need to move north, right? That's how white people do it. Even if you don't do it, even if you don't believe it as a white person, we're still united. That's our people, we're going, right? Us blacks will never probably have that. We'll never have that level of unification to where you can just drop whatever you morally believe or whatever it is you believe logically in your mind and stuff like that, just to get up under, just to be united, right? We're not, it's a level of ignorance at play there, but you see the numbers, right? And you see the superiority, right? Because we've seen it in our face for centuries, right? White supremacy is able to thrive because the group has gone under one accord, even if they don't believe the ideology. The front is, we believe the ideology. We don't actually have to actively practice it in our homes, right? I think that's interesting. I think it's really, really interesting. Black people would never. Mainly because Christianity has a stranglehold on our community, right? Like a stranglehold, right? You know, I like the Muslim, I like the NOI, I like the the 5%ers and all that stuff because they present us as black people as more than just I guess it's powerful, right? Shit crazy. shit is crazy, right? But we'll never be like that, right? I'm not bigging up the white people or any other minority or ethnic group or whatever the fuck, right? Because it's more like because it's not even really race. It's more like socioeconomic groups, right? Because all the whites can be like Trump, 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 and that's cool. But a lot of his policies will affect them negatively, right? It'll affect a poor white negatively and a rich black positively, right? That's not what they wanted, but they're not doing it based on race, right? Race is to get you to vote, right? But systematically, it's about money, right? And us blacks don't have enough. We spend a lot of it, but we don't have enough. And we're not going to be unified to like properly put money towards a singular candidate. We're not going to do none of that shit. We're not going to form like a black party. None of that shit. Never. We'll never do anything like that. So no unity amongst the blacks. I used to be like pro black. I'm still pro black, but I'm just like, hey, go find your family, raise your kids right, don't do harm to others, right? Keep them guns out them kids' hands. Y'all smoking shit. Don't get mad at me. Y'all doing that shit, but I'm about to get the F up out of here. We got some reactions coming up shortly. Like, comment, and subscribe. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. I'm Chris Gray. It's Chris Gray Show. I love you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming out. Goodbye.